Hello guys, what's up? This is ScherBR talking. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is yet another video of a safe, fast farming for UniverSe. We will be talking about episode 13, it just got released. And this episode is actually nice, I think. They are back into having enemies that are mostly weak to the same stuff in every new stage. And that makes this farming way better than, say, Gaiden. Yes. So the first look here, you can see that you need one stage that will allow you to farm the axe, and it could be either this stage or this other stage here, but this one is super easy to farm in my opinion. But there's a catch. Well, let's just give a look on the squad here, because this formation is used through speculation. We have Cat. Cat is the character that's mostly an outsider to the squad here. She's here on the front lines because she is made for the first wave. We need someone that can defeat the first wave with a single attack, and she can do that. Actually, a lot of martial artists can do that without being maxed. And then we have Ocelus and Alan and global exclusive Katarina. Then we have a mage here. It can be any mage actually, it don't need to be Volcano. It can be Volcano, it can be Judy, but Judy needs to be awakened. We need a mage that can do single target damage on turn 2, on the second wave. It can be Volcano, like I said, it can be Judy, but Judy needs Dark Flare with at least 13 BP, so at least 2 awakenings. You can also use Kongming. Let's see, where is Kongming? Kongming needs a Fire Staff because it will use Crimson Flare. Crimson Flare is heat-based. Or any character that can do, like Miriam. Miriam can do this as well, but she doesn't have a very strong attack. Well, it just needs a little more help to defeat the second wave, because it's only a boss. I consider that as a mini-boss. Okay, so you don't really need to care too much about equipment. I am using gloves to increase even more the SCR of my characters. So let's start the fight and see how it works. Well, only farm the stage if you need an axe, because the cap for the stage is not so good. Let me turn off full powder auto because I want to explain the first wave. We have 5 beetles. They are super weak. You can use a lot of different stuff to kill them in a single attack, but I am using martial artists like Cat. Cat is here because of Punishing Palm, about her auto. I increased Punishing Palm to 10 BP because I want her to clear this wave by herself, and on the second wave I don't want her to use Tumble. Let's just turn full power auto. You see? Nice, we got this wave cleared with a single attack. And the enemy is called Margarita. Yeah, that's the name of the enemy. And looking resistances, you can already see that's only weak against heat. And not resistant against confusion, or petrify for that matter. And confusion is okay if you have some release to bring ID break. And the other thing is that Margarita is a plant and float. So if you have critical damage against plant and floating enemies, you should use here to try to defeat Margarita as soon as possible, because Margarita has a very high agility. She can evade some attacks, and also Twine can paralyze with a medium chance. It always lands this thing here. And Entangle can stun, and she used this a lot of times. And even saying it's low, it usually stuns 3 people for me. And Margarita also attacks 2 times, just like a mini boss. So what I did here was bring Alan, because Alan has critical damage against Plant. She is using Dynamic Shot from her Platinum SS style, so deals a little more damage. It's still not training, rank 10, but I'll be using it here. You can do the same thing for other characters that can do any type of damage that is not blunt, so that they can use their high costly skill and level up here. Yeah, just like I'm doing with this Alan. And not just Alan, actually you can use, like I said, Judy, and Judy will be here in place of Volcano, using that very powerful attack. She can kind of insta-kill this enemy if you have it maxed. But I still don't have books to awaken my Judy, so that's I'm bringing Volcano to train him as well, because we have increased his status for romancing SaGa 3 characters. You can also, instead of bringing Ocelus to the front lines, bring Katarina, so Katarina can use Double Crush against Margarita. It usually kills if you do Double Crush plus one other attack. But I'm using her here because I want her to be the last one, only if I'm not able to kill the enemy. But, well, that's up to you. Well, with that said, let's just turn full power auto and see what will happen. It killed cat. So dynamic and impale. Dynamic impale. That's a cool name, actually. And yeah, double crush. Only one hit was needed here. So you can see that I'm not bringing any healer. It's not needed. You don't need to bring healers here. The enemies can use Tremor, and to reduce Tremor you need to bring helmets so that the damage is not so high, but I don't think you need to. I am using equipment that increases slash resistance, because most of the attacks from these enemies are slash. Let's just give a look here. Tremor is Earth is blunt, Match, Blade, and Double Cut are slash, so half of each one. You can choose whatever. Helmets help with the other boss that we just faced, because it's mostly blunt. So it's half-half. Okay, and now let's just get back into this. Just one thing. This enemy is weak against blunt and cold, but well, it's not easy to find cold characters here besides Global Exclusive Katarina, because, well, you need diversity here. Okay, let's turn full power auto again. And even if someone dies, it's still okay. We can still win. Asalus is doing AoE damage. Then we have single target damage, very high with Alan. And they can also use column attack. It's just that because I have not awakened the other attack to max, she uses too much BP by dynamic shop, so she never have enough to use the column attack. But don't worry, don't worry. This time I had very bad energy, but I never lost with this squad here. So, well, we can train a squad that uses blunt, slash, and also one mage here to train. Okay, so let's just go to the next stage. And the next one will not be here, because we can go directly to 13.2. It's better to just go ahead because the caps are better. So 13.2.1, Past the Sky. This stage here is also farmable for squads that can use pierce damage. And well, let me just show you what I have. So this is my squad. I am using Zeling, Yundin, Robin Girl is not Sun Release, it's actually Robin Girl, Mikhail and Monica. Well, there's a lot of pierce damage here and one character that can produce cold damage. And you can see that I don't have any healer here. This Yundin here do not have any healing spell, only Squall by inheritance. And the other characters do not inherit anything because I want them for single target damage. Mikhail and Monica will do single target damage, while Robin Girl and Zeling will use AoE with Rapid Volley. Let me show you here. I am using Divine Wall formation. The single target damages are behind because they get more dexterity. You can see slots number 4 and 5. It's useful because there is an enemy here that has a lot of HP. And then in the front lines, without having the agility debuff that slots 4 and 5 gets, we have the AoE attackers. The first 3 characters, they will do AoE damage. And both physical and magical. Teacher Yundin uses magical, while Zeling and Robin Girl will use physical by Rapid Volley. This works very fine because, well, we have to check the stage here. The equipment is not so important again, but I'm using helmets. So let's just go here and see if it works. Okay, we have 4 enemies on the first wave, and they are all weak against Pierce. And it's strange because the enemies on the back are very weak. The ones in the front, they have way more HP. They are weak against Pierce, Cold, and Lightning. Lightning is still very hard to find in this game for AoE damage. So we will have to just use Pierce. There's another formation that also increases dex, but it increases for 4 characters. It's not easy to use, you need a lot of characters that can produce dex. And it kind of affects a lot of agility as well. And, well, I believe this one is still best for this stage because of the second wave. So you just have to use Rapid Volley with Zeling, and then we will have Squall with Teacher Yundin, Rapid Volley with Robin Girl, and Mikhail and Christmas Monica will use Soul Third Cross when they have, if needed, okay? So let's turn full power auto. They need their Soul Third Cross awakened. Also Rapid Volley is awakened. They could do very high damage. Well, strange is that Robin Girl didn't attack on this turn. Sometimes the agility changes the order of the turns. And on the second wave, you can already see that we have these gels, and they are weak against magical attack. But you can kind of parse your damage here. The problem is that if Robin Girl do not attack on the first wave, it uses single target damage attack. But no problem. You don't need that much damage here, but it's hard to bring more than one mage, so you need 2 turns to clear this. Another thing is that, yeah, the Ews and all the other ones have some attacks that can be very nasty, like Cyclone Squeeze and Lightning Pierce, but I believe Cyclone Squeeze deals more damage. Okay, so let's get back to full power. One of the bow users will probably kill those enemies. Well, close to this. The jaws are not so fast. And now we have the last enemy, called Bane Serpent. A very strange enemy here. And it's an aquatic enemy, but there's no general nor anything. It's resisted against charm. Can be paralyzed, but it's hard to set a squad that will be using paralyze on the last wave. Or even confused. Maybe if you have ID break, you can inherit that to your Robin Girl, so that she can replace Rapid Volley with ID break, but I don't think you need that. You just need very high damage, because it's weak against Pierce, Cold, and Lightning. And well, it's what we have here. Let's just get back into full power auto. One last thing is that this enemy doesn't have so much agility, but it can kill you by this skewer. Even the split cranium can kill you. Double thrust, I don't know. And Squall is AoE damage, like I said. Bring helmets that will help you reduce this damage here. Okay, so let's do full power auto. Yeah, like I said, split cranium deals very high damage. Because it's Pierce. You cannot bring everything. Even if people die, don't worry, they should still be worked and strong enough to kill the enemy. Should die on the next attack. Sometimes the order changes, they can save some BP, but sometimes they use it before reaching this wave, so maybe fast, maybe a little slower. But it's safe, I believe it's super safe. I never lost here as well. So this was the second stage. This one you can farm hammers and guns. That's pretty nice because you can also train pierce damage dealers and cold damage dealers. That brings us to Rapier users, bow users, and mages that can produce cold damage. Not only mages, but even people like Global Exclusive Katarina that can also produce cold damage, but well, we use her in so many different formations that, well, we need to do different stuff as well. So, this was for Pierce. Now we have one stage for Blunt. Crossing the Blue is a stage where you can bring your blunt damage dealers, but not just blunt damage dealers. So now let me explain my strategy for this stage. You can bring blunt damage dealers and so on, like I said. It can either be martial artists or club users. The formation is Hunter Gambit. If you bring your club users, bring them to the front lines where Cat and Azami are, and bring mages with some damage in the middle lines. We have Kong, Ming, and Princess White Rose in the middle lines. In the back line, we have a Gunner. They also produce blunt damage. In this case here, we have Bunny, but you can also bring Amelia. But if you're bringing Amelia, leave Random Shot on 7 BP and Bound Shot on 6 so that she can use more AoE. We need more AoE on this stage because there's 9 enemies for you to clear on the second wave, and having this will help you a lot. Also, you should bring helmets to decrease the incoming damage from enemies. Both your martial artists need to bring Punishing Palm, that's at least 10 BP. Or if you're bringing club users, just like, say, Flurry. Flurry needs Seismic Strike to be awakened into 10 BP. Bone Crusher to 6 is also very nice if you have it, but it's not mandatory. And then Bunny is fully awakened. She starts with Stun Shot, and then she goes to Random Shot. Okay, so this should work. We don't need more than one gunner, because if you have too many, they are not so perfect for AoE. We have also Professor, can be Professor if you have Professor. And Princess White Rose can also revive someone if someone dies, but, well, she's here only for Chocolate Balls. People don't die too much here on the setup, and even if someone dies, the rest of the characters will be able to finish the fight. With that said, let's just enter the stage. So we have 3 enemies here: Mortar Ghost, he is weak to blunt, sun, and heat, like all undeads in this game, at least most of them. And he's also considered a bone, so Bone Crusher will do even more damage if you are using a character that can use clubs. And the other enemies just have the same weaknesses: blunt, sun, and heat. Also, no resistance against stun. That's because stun shot is very nice here if you have like Bunny. The problem is just that, well, gunners don't have much agility if they are used in some formations, and Bunny still have very high agility. I think she can still attack before those enemies because of how much agility she has. Okay, so our martial artists will start with Punishing Paw, and then one of our mages will probably use Light Ball or Chocolate Ball to finish this wave. He needs 3 attacks with my setup. Let's turn full power auto. Punishing Paw, another Punishing Paw, and then we have Chocolate Ball. It's not enough to kill. Interesting, usually is. But then we have Wildfire here. Didn't use Stun Shot. And now we have 9 enemies. Here is cool. There's who else here? Skeleton and Elmbird. They all have the same resistance and weaknesses, at least to blunt and sun. This one is actually strong as heat, but well, just bring sun. It's better. Let's use full power auto here. We don't have any skill with Azami and Cat because they use it their BPs. Yeah, we just finished it because of our 2 Sun Mages. Not much of a problem. They don't have much agility. And on this wave here, we'll start with Submission. Submission again because they have 6 DP. Chocolate Ball, Light Ball, and Rabbit Trick. Very nice to have this here. The enemies are weak to Blunt and Sun. So let's just give a look on ScherBR. We didn't check the other enemy, but he is just like this one. Same thing. Blunt, Sun, Heat, and Stun. So even if someone dies, don't worry. You'll still have enough to clear the wave. And yeah, we also have White Coat. She can revive. Yeah, the wave is finished. I believe this is the best strategy. I tried different formations that increases dex, and this one was the best one because it is also nice to use with mages. The other formations that increases dex may not be so good for mages, and Divine Wall is not needed since you only need 1 gunner, and you won't need to train more than 1 at once. And well, this is the second stage of the second part. This one also drops guns and hammers, but it's good to train blunt, damage dealers, and some mages. And now the next stage is Navigating the Dark, and this one here is good to train slash damage dealers. Again, yeah. And let's just give a look on the squad that we'll be using here. It's this one, 13.2.3. And let's just give a look on the equipments of the characters. You need to bring gloves, because the enemies will do slash damage, and it reduces the slash damage. You can use Dragoon Strike formation just fine. The enemies are not so fast, so you can still attack before them without having to increase agility. I have my Ellen here. Ellen uses Heavy Slash and sometimes Cut Timber. And then we have Final Empress. You don't really need Final Empress. Can be any healer. Can be White Rose. Can be even Sophia. We also have Global Exclusive Katarina on this part because she gets more STR. We need the best character to do more damage, so we increase the damage even further. Slots number 3 and 4 increase damage, and on slots number 1 and 2 we have characters that can be attacked more often than not. We have Halloween Vampire Lady or Platinum Vampire Lady, doesn't really matter, and Acelus. For this setup I'm using even the Platinum Halloween Vampire Lady because, well, most of these enemies cannot be charmed anyway, and she's using Heaven Inert. It's a very strong attack that can be used here. Acelus can also use it, I believe. 6 BP, but it depends on the rotation. She starts with Rosario and Theo, and then she usually uses Mirage Step. So, well, this is it. Let's just test this strategy. Also, you don't really need to bring it this exact setup here. It's just that I'm explaining the characters that I train the most, since I use them more than other slash damage dealers. So, enemies are weak against slash here, and mostly just slash. They are resistant against elemental damage, This one can be Charmed, so if you bring in Halloween Vampire Lady, it also helps. But we don't have slash damage dealers that can produce Petrify or Insta-Kill, at least not now. So, Asalos will start with Rosario and Peyo, and it will do very good damage. Vampire Lady here, this one uses Heaven and Earth, very good damage as well. I'm training my Heaven and Earth. And then Global Exclusive Katarina uses Double Crush, while Ellen will start with Cut Timber, and then she will just cycle in between Heavy Slash. Lastly, we have Final Empress. She will just use Moon Flash and heal with Moonlight when needed. So let's turn full power auto and see what happens here. Usually we need 3 attacks, 1 from Global Exclusive Katarina, and 2 other strong attacks with other characters. Yeah, we killed 1, so Double Crush will just kill this one as well. The second wave, we have 3 enemies. They are the Magmites. They are weak to Slash, strong against elemental damage. These ones can be Charmed if you bring Halloween Vampire Lady. This makes it even easier. But she will not have an AoE attack here unless you don't kill the first wave in 1 turn. But Asalos already have Mirage Step available. Heaven on Earth again with Vampire Lady. Glacial's Word. Probably Cut Timber or Reverse Delta. Reverse Delta is also very nice to train here. And Final Empress will use Moonslash. That is only if she gets to attack. Maybe she won't even attack and then you have Lunar Blade for the last wave. Well, let's see what will happen here. Because we don't have too much agility, this formation is perfect. It's just damage. You can win this very, very fast. No. She got to attack. And even with the decreased agility in this formation, she still attacked before the enemy. And that's the last wave. They are still weak to Slash, so we forgot to shack them. Let's see if we can still shack them. The first enemy is already died. And also this formation is good if the enemy uses Waterfall Blade. It will only hit 2 of our characters. It's like a speculation. There's only 2 places where they can hit 2 of our characters and 1 place where they will only hit for 1. And by looking on resistance, this is just weak against Slash, strong against elemental damage, just like all the other enemies here. Can also be Charmed. Now I forgot about this. I thought they could not be Charmed easily, so if you are using Halloween Vampire Lady and you save VP, you may be able to use AoE again. But I'm training my Platinum, like I said. And, well, let's just turn full power auto again. This enemy cannot heal you easily. It doesn't have full AoE damage. But has a very high agility. They can evade some attacks. Yeah, and it's done. It's super easy, actually. So just place your 4 strongest slash damage dealers on the front lines and 1 strong healer on the back line. That should be enough to clear this. And that could be the same for the next stage, because the next stage the enemies are also weak against Slash. But I use it a different formation since, well, some of those enemies can have good agility. And you can also train a different type of mage that we didn't try so far. Well, let's just give a look. So, this is my setup. I have Asalos, Katarina, Lobo, Ellen, Judy, and Final Empress. Let's check the formation. And with this formation, we have Judy and Final Empress in the back lines because it's a healer and a moon damage dealer by magical attacks. The enemies are weak against moon attacks. You can even use Rouge here with AoE or just... Yeah, I think you can inherit AoE and use the Assist style, or maybe the future version of Rouge if you are watching this later. And Elsa is in the front line because she can negate some damage sometimes. Ellen can also use a very good attack, Heavy Slash. Some of the enemies are on formations that are based on column. And lastly, we have Global Exclusive Katarina for boost. Well, you don't need to use those characters. You can replace with your best slash damage dealers and place a healer and, like I said, a mage that can produce moon damage. The enemies here will produce both moon damage and slash as well against you. So you can either bring gloves or clothes. Yeah, Reinforced Garb increases your resistance against poison because they use poison and moon damage. So that can also help. But I don't need it. I usually use this and it works perfectly. I will show you how it works. And for this stage, we can farm Rapiers. Just like the past stage, actually, I forgot to mention. Both stages allow you to farm Rapiers, even if you are using slash damage dealers. That's kind of funny. But yeah, let's just enter the stage with this setup here and see if it works. Okay, there's 3 ninjas here, but the funny thing is that they are not so fast. You don't need to use speculation because of that, but it's because of other things. I will explain. They are weak against Slash and Moon, like I said. They can also be charmed easily if you have Halloween Vampire Lady. And the Shade does not have any resistance to status elements, but he's so weak that forget about this. So, by starting with this setup, Asalus will use Rosario Impale, Katarina will use Double Crush, Ellen will use Cut Timber, Judy will use Psycho Noise, and Final Empress will use Moon Flash. So I will turn full power auto to see what happens. They also use Waterfall Blade, so this formation also helps. Only 2 characters will be defeated by Waterfall Blade. And because we start keeping the ninja on the front, this is super good, because this one is the only one that matters. The other ones are very weak. So now we have the second wave. There is this enemy here, Master. It's stronger than the other ones in the back. They don't have much HP. If you have a character that can use Grave Digger here, that would be very nice. But Asalus is enough if she uses Mirage Step. She will use Mirage Step from the start. And then we have Katarina with Glacial Sword, Cut Timber again, Psycho Noise again, and if our Final Empress gets to attack, she will use Moon Flash, but I don't think she will. And these characters will only use Poisonous Blow or Slice and Dice against you. Like I said, you can either bring gloves or cloaks to reduce the damage from these enemies. So let's just turn full power auto and see what will happen. Okay, Psycho Noise. Psycho Noise killing the enemy, so there's a good thing here is that Final Empress didn't get to attack, so she will have the last attack on this last wave. We have the same things here, just enemies that are weak against Slash and Moon. They also use Poisonous attack. And, well, you can already see that this is working super fine. Psycho Noise again, and the last attack will be Lunar Blade. You can train your Lunar Blade here. Well, she missed it because she's still not perfect. But if we even confuse this enemy, there's a low chance to confuse it, but okay. You see, most of the waves we had only a need of 1 turn to clear. The second one was very close to 1 turn. This other one will be 1 turn if you didn't miss the Lunar Blade. So this formation works super fine here. And you can bring characters like even Noel to train Lunar Blade if you want to. If you have the 3 frontal characters being Asalus, Globe Exclusive Katarina, and Award Ellen. Also, very good place to train your Judys and future Ryuges, even the current Ryuge if you want, because those enemies are also not resistant against Paralyze, at least some of them. So, well guys, this finishes our explanation of the fast and safe farm on episode 13. I hope you enjoyed the ride. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you want to support this small channel, you can use the Patreon, Coffee, or PayPal buttons here in the description of the video. We see each other on the next one. Bye.